I'm Jenni Carlson with the Oklahoman, here with this year's Bob Colin Scholarship winner in the Oklahoman Jim Thorpe Scholar Athlete Program, George Overbey. George, thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Some great accomplishments by George in his high school career. He's a multi-sport athlete. He scored a 30 on the ACT. He just graduated from Oklahoma Christian School and is headed to Oklahoma State. George, let's talk first of all athletically. Tell me about some of your favorite moments athletically. Do you have one that stands out from your athletic career at OCS?
I have a couple probably. My junior year, we beat Heritage Hall in football, and that was my last football game because I actually got injured that game. But it was a fun game, and we won, and Heritage Hall was really good that year. So that was the highlight. And then this past year was probably the best this basketball season. Just making it to the state championship game after losing Blake Griffin and all those guys, which is a special year for OCS basketball in general, I think. And so that was probably my biggest highlight and our team's biggest highlight of the year. So I was just blessed to be a part of that awesome team. So
talk about your role a little bit on that team as a senior. You were one of the only guys to come back with any playing experience this year.
There were like 12, the top 12 last year. There was like 2 guys who came back, and I was one of those 2, and the only starter. And so we didn't have a lot of experience, so my role as a senior was to kind of build those guys up. And so that was really fun for me to go through that year and see a team start out 0-4 and then build up and become a state championship quality team. And so that was my role, was to kind of facilitate that a little bit and kind of help lead that. And we had a new coach as well, so it just all was kind of a new experience for everybody, and I was kind of stuck in the middle. And so, but it ended up being an awesome year, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So
let's talk academics for a second, because you're also a high achiever in the classroom. Do you have some accomplishments academically that stand out for you as things that you're just really proud of now at the end of your high school career?
I'm proud of, I was a part of this journalism team, I guess you could say, and we put out this paper once a month, and that was kind of what really got me started on writing. And so I'm proud of that. I'm proud of being a part of that, and because I was a freshman in that class, and it was mostly seniors. So, and then this past year, I was in my senior year. I was in an English class that OCS is kind of big on, is senior English, and it's a tough class and a lot of reading and writing. And so I'm proud of getting through that alive and with a decent grade.
What about people along the way that have been influential to you? You don't get to be a great athlete, a great student without some inspiration or some motivation along the line. Who have been some of those people for you?
I think role models and people I look up to are the biggest key to succeeding and all that. But I'd definitely say my parents are 2 big ones. They've always supported me. And then my 2 brothers, who I've just grown up with and played with and done everything with my whole life. They've really helped me a lot and given me a lot of advice because they've been there before, and so I could always look to them, if I needed some help. And my grandpa, and some coaches like Coach Holland, my football coach, past 2 seasons, and so that's just a few. I couldn't sit here and name all of them; it'd take hours. But
as you've gone along, what would you say are some of the keys for you to have achieved at this level? Did you have some rules for yourself when it came to practicing, how much you wanted to practice your sports or how much you wanted to study? Kind of talk me through some of those things that you've done along the way that have helped get you where you are.
Well, I've definitely always wanted to play sports more than I've wanted to study, but I've also known that I needed to keep a balance of the 2, and so that's what I've really tried hard to do. Is I want to work hard in basketball, but I also got to remember, it's nothing if you don't keep up. If you don't make the grades, you can't play. So in that aspect, school comes first, and so I've just always tried to work hard, whatever I'm doing, do the best I can. And so if I'm in the gym practicing or shooting in the morning, I'm going to give it all I have. Well, if I'm studying for a test that night, then I'm going to do the best I can there. And so I just think that's really the main thing. That's what my parents have always told me growing up is, whatever you do, put 100% into it, or 110 is what I like to say. And and if you do that, you'll reap the reward. And so I would say that's the biggest thing that's helped me along my way, is just doing everything to the best of my ability and not looking back.
When you're doing sports, you're doing it
Yeah.
at a high level. When you're doing your studies,
I'm
you're
trying at least, yeah.
Well, it seemed to work out pretty well. For George Overbey, I'm Jenni Carlson with the Oklahoman. Thanks for joining us.